Greetings and welcome back to the Old Ways Rising Farm YouTube channel for a gardening video in early February. Now, we're in a winter cold climate, so clearly I'm not going out to plant lettuce in early February. But this time, midwinter, is the time of year when you want to do your planning, preparation, design, conceptualization, and seed stratification. And that last one is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, there are many, many types of seed which have a form of dormancy called embryo dormancy. This is common in cold climates. If you're in a cold climate, you really don't want your seed to germinate at the wrong time of year. If that seed sprouts in November, it's toast. No plant's going to grow. It's going to pop its radicle, maybe even start a shoot, and then it's going to freeze to death, right? You have defeated the whole purpose of wrapping your embryo in a durable case because it broke open its case. So you need to regulate that sprouting time. And there's multiple types of seed dormancy, but here we're talking about embryo dormancy, and there's two ways of doing embryo dormancy. The first is to store the food for the embryo in a form which is not immediately available. Okay. The second is to store your food in a form that is available, but also in the presence of a germination inhibitor and a hormone or chemical which prevents the embryo from sprouting. Now, to time the sprouting itself, you then also package this with an enzyme that will either liberate the food or destroy the inhibitor. Those enzymes are active when it's cold. And they need to be active for a certain length of time, which allows the seed to basically, count the days off until spring when it's ready to go. These enzymes tend to be active above freezing, but below 40. So, literally refrigerator temperatures. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some seeds that I just received in this here box. Now I'm going to pull things out of a box, but don't worry, this is not going to turn into a corny unboxing video channel, right? We're unboxing once, okay? Because I just got some seeds in the mail. These seeds are for planting in my trouble spot, the dry wash that being stabilized by trees that are sick and dying. I did a whole video on that. I'll put it on the end screen if you want to see where these are going to be planted. But this box contains mostly nut trees. Cordiformis, this is bitternut hickory. Okay. Cario ovata, this is shagbark hickory. Caria tomentosa, larger seeds than the other two. This is mockernut hickory. Juglin cinerea, this is the butternut, an endangered tree, much in need of our help. And then a couple of extras for other plantings. Azalea calendulaceum, this is the fire azalea. This is endemic to the southern Appalachians. It's a really cool plant. Really hard to germinate. This is a light-dependent germinator, so it gets its own rules. Doesn't need stratified, put him away for later. And this is Xanthoceras, which is yellowthorn. This is going to go in another spot of our future food forest. And this gets scarified, but not stratified. I did a video on this earlier. I'll also put that in the end screen with this exact species. Did that last year. Sadly, mice got into my seeds last year, and they killed them all. So we're doing it again this year. Okay, this happens. Now, I have a couple other things here, but we're going to focus on these first. In order for all of this to work, I'm just going to shove some stuff out of the way here. We'll do the cordiformis. Okay? In order for this whole process to work, yes, I know there's brands on here. I like this brand. They're not a sponsor. This is not a placement or anything paid. Just seeds I got for myself. Just caveat. Anyway, thought process. Random. Caria cordiformis. In order for the stratification to take place, the first thing that needs to happen is they need to absorb water. Okay? And these have very thick seed coats, so they need to absorb a considerable quantity of water. Now, how I'm going to orchestrate this is, if I'm baggy, I pre-labeled some baggies for this. We're going to take a Ziploc bag. We're going to put our seeds in it. Hopefully without making a mess on film. Okay. So there's our nice hickory nuts. And now, so I just said they need to absorb water. Renee, what do you think's the next ingredient?
Water.
Water! Shocking. I know. Okay. We got us some water, and we're going to fill this with some water. Okay. Now, I'm going to just zip that up and let them soak in lots of water. Give them a good shake. And just let them soak in there for a healthy 1 to 2 days. Okay? We're going to let them absorb as much of this as they want to kickstart the process. This is going to happen at room temperature. Okay? This will happen with all of these seeds. Also, this is going to happen with the Osage Orange that I saved in a video earlier this fall. I'll put that one in the end screen too if you want to see those. So you'll see them come up again. And that's going to be symmetrical for all of these. I'm not going to show putting water on every species of seed. I'm sure your imagination is fertile enough that you can handle that. What I do want to do is talk about I switched my bags. I'll fix that later. Talk about a teachable moment here, because I have, no I didn't, I lied. It's already in the right bag. Some chestnut seeds. Now, these chestnut seeds molded on me. Very, very lightly. This is a bee problem. This is, I got them, life happened. I didn't get to them in time. I didn't store them quite right. And they got a little bit of surface mold. Okay? This is a me thing. This is all on me. And it's really not that bad. It's only on a couple of seeds that are damaged anyway. But while you're doing the stratification, mold is your enemy. If you get it in and you allow it to grow and proliferate and don't do anything about it, get that out of the way, it will eventually kill your seed. But it won't kill your seed immediately. So even if you start to see a little bit of mold coming in, as long as you spot it in time and deal with it properly, you can often, not always, but often, save your seed. I have saved many batches of seed that started to get a little mold. I've also lost some. Okay? This isn't 100%, but it is good. And if you ignore it, you'll achieve 0%. So don't ignore it, right? Now, what we're going to do is basically the same thing. We're going to pour a bunch of water in here. Okay. Getting a little bit low in water in my pitcher, so I'm going to be a little conservative. And now we're just going to pretend that we're a washing machine. And just get all of these seeds bouncing against each other. Most exciting video in history, right? Okay, we're going to say that's good enough. Knock all the mold off, get a good wash. Okay. And I'm going to open just a corner of the bag. And I'm going to pour out all of that dirty water. And like I said, there were only a couple in here that are concerning, so I don't have that big of a deal. But you can see we got it quite a bit, right? And that's fairly dirty water. Now, if this was a bad mold contamination problem on good, healthy, undamaged seed, I might do this 2 or 3 times. As it is, I'm just going to go forward at this stage. And I'm going to put the rest of my pitcher of water in here so that these little buggers can absorb it. Okay. Now they will also be left at room temperature to absorb this water for a day to 2 days. Okay. Now, if they absorb all of the water, obviously those are floating in a tremendous amount of water. They're not going to absorb all of that. But if you don't have quite enough water in and they absorb it all, give them more and give them another day. Okay, this is not rocket science, just kind of common sense. Make sure they get as big a drink as they could possibly want. I'm going to finish preparing the rest of these seeds. Up to this stage, I'm going to let them sit for that day, and then we will rejoin and I will show you the next step. So life got away from me a little bit, and it's been, about 2.5 days, 3 days since I put all of these seeds in their little water bags. So they've had a good long time to soak up that water. Now, all we need to do is to dump them out, unceremoniously removing the water. Now, a large seeded species like these, large hickory nuts, it's very simple to do just that. And now this bag is ready to go in the fridge. Before doing so, I'm going to write the date that I put it in the fridge on it, so that I know when they're done. That brings up the next thing we want to talk about. How long do you leave them? And that's species specific. So there's quite a few seed sellers out there that market these woody plant seeds, and most of them will give you the stratification information for the seed that they're selling. So one way to know this is to just Google it, find those seed sellers, and you can get that information. There are reference books that have this in as well. I have those reference books, but as often as not, I just Google one of the seed sellers to look it up. Now, for nuts like this, 3 months, 90 days is kind of the middle of the range. Some walnuts and chestnuts will be 60 to 90 days. Some, like the hickories and some of the other longer stratifying walnuts, will be 90 to 120 days. So if in doubt, you can kind of default to about 90 days. You'll probably get at least reasonable germination. If you have seed that doesn't sprout, you can always re-stratify it and retry it the next year. But if in doubt, guess 90 days. But it's best to find the information. Now, these, since I know the hickories are a longer stratifying species, I will let them go to the full 120 days and, plant these in 4.5 months from now. That'll be mid-May. Okay, that's plenty of time to plant them. So there's no penalty to putting these in the fridge a little longer and just planting them. These, we have another little teachable moment here with these chestnuts. So remember, I washed them. These were the ones that I washed the mold off of. Again, that was a me problem, not a supplier problem. And I'm not even going to tell you what supplier they came from because it's a me problem. And knowing that we have that problem, I'm going to sort through these. Like this one is spongy and moldy, so that's just a trash seed. I don't even want it in there. It's only going to cause problems. It's not going to grow. Get rid of it. Be done with it. Adios to that seed. I'm just looking to see. There were only a couple here that were having issues. So I will spend some time going over those and getting rid of the junk seed before I put these away to stratify. Second teachable moment are some of the smaller seeds, like these Machlorapomifera that we did. These are a little bit more demanding in terms of care. Those nuts, I could just kind of grab the bag with my hand and pour through. These, what I like to do is I like to pinch the top and the bottom and just leave a little bit of the Ziploc unlocked in the middle. And then kind of use that little gap as a sieve and slowly trickle the water out. And that works quite nicely. There's no reason you could not use a literal sieve for this. Just kind of one less thing to fuss with doing it this way. It does take a little bit of patience. Okay?
Don't be hasty, little hobbit.
Don't be hasty. Yeah. Got all the Tolkien references. We bring the nerd here at Old Ways Rising Farm.
Yeah, yep, do. It wouldn't be us if we didn't have the nerds.
It wouldn't be us if we didn't have the nerds. Yeah. Okay. So, there we have removed the water from those seed. They're ready to stratify. I will continue with the rest of these. I'm not going to do all of these on camera. Now, one thing that you will sometimes notice when you have these in the fridge going about their business is that some of them, especially really, really hard, not the chestnuts, really, really hard shelled ones like the Caria here.
Hickories.
You think that they are... You think that they've absorbed all of the water that they're going to. You put them in the fridge, you come back the next week, and they look completely dry. And I've even seen them suck so much water out of here that they sucked all the water vapor out of the air in the bag and like vacuum sealed themselves. It's kind of funny looking when they do that. If that happens, open up the bag, fill it with water, give them another 2-day soak, dump it out again, put them back in. Not a problem. Okay? That just means they didn't soak up enough of the water to be fully hydrated. Give them another soak, put them back in the fridge. Not a big deal. I don't know if any of these are going to do that or not, considering I soaked the bejabbers out of them for 3 days because I got distracted with other projects. But it does happen sometimes. I just wanted to mention it so if you see that, you know it's nothing to worry about. Fill them with water, soak them a day, dump them out, back in the fridge. No big deal. Okay. And then the last thing is, and you'll see this a lot, when I work with the chestnut seed, I see this happen a lot. Apple and pear seed, you'll see this happen a lot too. But some of these will break dormancy in the fridge sooner than the data tables tell you they should want to break dormancy. And you'll go in and you'll look at it, and a third of the seeds will have a little root poking out. If you see that, they're done, take them out, plant them. Okay? That's it. Put them in a pot. You'll be fine. Chestnuts do that a lot. So, again, another thing not to worry about, but something to be conscious of. Watch for that. If it happens, you know they're ready. There's no guesswork. Put them in the ground. And when that happens, if some don't sprout, well, then it was bad seed, right? That's not something that you can re-stratify because you know you didn't miss any of them with the stratification period because they were starting to sprout. You saw it. So, I am going to conclude there. There's a number of other videos on this channel that talk about how to take these and plant these and manage a little container nursery for your own food forest. That's all in the plant propagation playlist. I'll make sure that I put that playlist and a couple of other interesting videos in the end screen. So I hope that you have found this interesting and useful, and if you do, I'd be most grateful if you gave it a big old thumbs up, and I'll see you next time at Old Ways Rising Farm.